The cosmos was a vast, echoing expanse of dark mysteries. The Orion expanse had become a canvas for forgotten battles and lost dreams. Dr. Elena Maris navigated her shuttle through a tapestry of starlight and drifting debris, the silence of space punctuated only by the hum of her vessel's engines. Out here, amidst the relics of conflict and the ghostly glow of distant nebulae, every signal carried the weight of untold history. Her communicator crackled to life, shattering the profound stillness. Dr. Maris, this is Mission Control. We have an anomalous signal, an unidentified warship, drifting near the derelict station at the edge of the expanse. Coordinates sent. The voice was calm, yet threaded with urgency. Elena's pulse quickened. She had spent years chasing echoes of a bygone era, piecing together fragments of humanity's turbulent past. Memories of ancient wars and personal loss merged in her mind as she stared at the holographic display beaming in front of her. The warship's silhouette, dark and enigmatic, floated against the star-speckled void like a secret waiting to be unveiled. Its surface bore scars of long-forgotten battles, a mosaic of twisted metal and shattered dreams, whispering of both pride and devastation. Adjusting her course, Elena recalled the stories that had drawn her to such desolate realms, legends of a vessel that once embodied the might of human conflict, now abandoned and adrift in a sea of silence. As her shuttle veered closer, the warship loomed larger, its hulking form casting a long, eerie shadow over the distant space station, a relic of a civilization that had both soared and crumbled in the aftermath of war. Inside her cockpit, Elena's mind raced with possibilities. Could the warship hold remnants of lost technology or hidden records of battles that reshaped the human frontier? More profoundly, did it carry the burdens of those who had perished in the fires of conflict? Her heart, a blend of scientific curiosity and the lingering scars of a military past, beat faster with each passing moment. A brief intercom exchange brought her back to the present. Dr. Maris, we're picking up anomalous energy readings. It appears the vessel's power systems, though dormant, are still intermittently active. Proceed with extreme caution. The calm authority in the voice belied the gravity of the situation. Elena's hands gripped the controls firmly. She whispered to herself, a quiet promise in the solitude of space. I will uncover your story, no matter what secrets you hold. Her determination was palpable, a blend of cautious hope and the relentless pursuit of truth. As the shuttle neared the warship, the detail of its construction became unmistakable. Rusted panels, cryptic insignias, and shattered viewing ports painted a picture of a once majestic force now left to the relentless march of time. The silence of space seemed to grow heavier, as if the void itself was holding its breath in anticipation of the revelations to come. Elena's thoughts wandered briefly to the challenges ahead, hazards lurking in the dark corridors of the vessel, the possibility of hostile scavengers, and the ever-looming shadow of the past that threatened to resurface. But in that moment, all that mattered was the silent beacon of mystery that the abandoned warship represented. It was an irresistible call to uncover history, to sift through the debris of time and find the humanity hidden within the wreckage. With a deep breath, Elena steered her shuttle into position. The countdown to boarding had begun, each second marked by the rhythmic beat of her determined heart. In that quiet, breathtaking moment, the cosmos held its secrets close, while Dr. Elena Maris prepared to unlock the silent beacon's long-kept truths. Drifting further into the star-strewn void, Dr. Elena Maris guided her shuttle with deliberate precision towards the enigmatic warship. The craft loomed ahead like a specter from humanity's turbulent past, its silhouette etched against the shimmering backdrop of the Orion expanse. Each star that flitted by seemed to whisper secrets of battles fought and lives lost, as if the cosmos itself mourned the echoes of a once proud fleet. Elena's shuttle crept forward through a sparse field of space debris, remnants of ancient conflicts swirling slowly in the weightlessness of space. The sensors on her cockpit console flickered with data streams, each number a testament to the vessel's mysterious history. The warship's hull, pockmarked with the scars of cosmic violence, was draped in layers of cosmic dust, a shroud that obscured its former glory while simultaneously beckoning her closer. As she approached, The warship's details unfurled before her eyes. Expansive decks now silent, corridors that once thrummed with the pulse of battle, and a network of hidden chambers whose secrets lay dormant beneath layers of time. Elena marveled at the juxtaposition of beauty and desolation. The craft, though ravaged by the passage of centuries, retained an unmistakable aura of solemn majesty, a relic that had borne witness to both the zenith and nadir of human ambition. Inside the shuttle, the hum of the engines merged with the quiet cadence of her measured breaths. Every instrument beep and every flicker on the display reminded her that she was not merely an observer but an active participant in a narrative woven by the threads of history and destiny. The thought stirred a profound mix of trepidation and exhilaration. Here, in the silent void, the past was palpable, an ever-present specter urging her onward. Her mind raced with contemplation as she maneuvered her vessel into an optimal docking position. The warship, with its weathered panels and cryptic symbols etched into its metal skin, seemed to resonate with the secrets of its bygone era. Elena's eyes lingered on the dark recesses of the hull, where flickers of residual energy hinted at a life force that, against all odds, still stirred within. It was as though the ship, though abandoned, held on to a spark of its former self, a ghost of the valor and despair that had once animated its corridors. The shuttle's docking clamps engaged with a soft, almost hesitant click, anchoring her craft to the massive hull of the warship. In that moment, the vast silence of space was punctuated by the subtle vibrations of the ship's ancient structure, a gentle reminder that beneath its desolation lay a tumultuous history waiting to be uncovered. Elena's heartbeat echoed the rhythmic thrum of the dock, each pulse a silent vow to piece together the narrative embedded in every rivet and panel. With the final preparations complete, she activated her suit's external lights, casting narrow beams onto the ship's surface. The light revealed layers of decay intermingled with remnants of high-tech design. Intricately forged panels, emblematic insignias now dulled by time, and a series of access ports that hinted at hidden, long-forgotten passageways. Every detail was a story in itself, a chapter of human endeavor and sacrifice, shrouded in the mists of cosmic time. Standing at the threshold of the airlock, Elena paused to take in the enormity of what lay before her. The warship was not just a vessel. It was a monument to an era when humanity had reached for the stars with both hope and hubris. The approach had been fraught with silent warnings, each sensor alert and every fluctuating energy reading urging caution. Yet, the pull of discovery was irresistible. Her mind filled with questions. What battles had been waged within these walls? Which secrets were etched into the very metal of the ship? And most importantly, what remnants of humanity's past might be salvaged to illuminate the path to the future? With resolve hardening her features, Elena took the first step across the threshold, stepping from the warmth of her shuttle into the cold, echoing corridors of the ghostly warship, ready to embrace the mysteries that awaited her. Elena's heartbeat synchronized with the quiet, deliberate hum of her suit's life support systems as she stepped into the airlock. The door slid open with a whisper of ancient mechanics, revealing a corridor bathed in shifting shadows and intermittent bursts of erratic light. Each step onto the warship's cold metal deck sent shivers coursing through her body, a visceral reminder of the centuries that had passed since this vessel had once roared with life. Inside, the ship was an eerie labyrinth of decay and lost grandeur. The walls, once gleaming with the luster of polished alloys and futuristic circuitry, were now marred by layers of dust, corrosion, and time. Faded insignias hinted at a history of valor, yet their proud designs were muted, as if the ship itself mourned the glories of its past. Elena's boots echoed on the hard floor, the sound magnifying the solitude that enveloped the corridor like a shroud. She advanced cautiously, her suit's external lights cutting swaths of brightness through the pervasive gloom. Each beam illuminated fragments of a bygone era, torn banners fluttering in the artificial wind of malfunctioning air currents, control panels frozen mid-operation, and scattered personal mementos, a forgotten photograph, a dented medal, that whispered silent stories of the crew who once manned this vessel. The atmosphere was thick with the ghosts of memories and secrets, and every detail urged her to uncover the narrative hidden beneath the wreckage. Elena paused before a heavy, sealed door, its surface scarred by the impacts of forgotten conflicts. A nearby console flickered to life as she approached, its display showing erratic symbols and cryptic codes, a final, desperate attempt by the ship's systems to relay its history. With deft precision, she tapped into the interface, her mind racing as she deciphered fragmented data logs that spoke of catastrophic battles, shifting allegiances, and the raw human emotions that had once fueled these encounters. The soft hum of her portable decoder was the only sound in the oppressive silence, a gentle companion on her solitary journey. As she ventured deeper, the corridor expanded into a vast chamber where the architecture soared into shadowed heights. Here, ancient wiring and exposed conduits crisscrossed the ceiling like the veins of a long-dead giant. In the center of the room stood a massive viewport, its glass now clouded and fractured, offering a distorted view of the cosmos outside, a timeless panorama of glittering stars and swirling nebulae. The sight stirred a melancholic wonder in Elena. Beyond the decay lay the infinite, indifferent universe that had borne witness to the ship's rise and fall. Navigating through this haunting gallery of relics, Elena encountered a series of secured bulkhead doors. Each door was a threshold to another chapter of the Warship's story, concealing the silent testimonies of a crew lost to time. With each careful override of ancient locks, she pieced together hints of internal hierarchies, covert operations, and a network of passageways designed for both strategy and survival. The ship's design was a study in contrast. Its corridors were at once expansive yet claustrophobic, a fusion of technological ambition and the oppressive weight of obsolescence. In one secluded alcove, she discovered a collection of personal artifacts preserved by an automated security system. A battered logbook lay open on a pedestal, its pages yellowed and ink faded. As Elena gently turned the pages, she read the intimate accounts of officers and soldiers, tales of bravery, regret, and the bitter taste of sacrifice. Their words resonated with her own quest for truth, reinforcing her determination to honor the legacy of those who had perished in the tumult of war. The deeper she delved, the more the ship seemed to come alive with the echoes of its former self. The ambient lighting, though sporadic and unreliable, flickered in rhythm with her steps, as if in silent applause for her daring intrusion into its forgotten sanctum. Every corridor, every relic, and every whispered fragment of data built an intricate mosaic of history, a tapestry woven with both triumph and tragedy. In that moment, standing alone in the heart of a forsaken warship, Elena felt the weight of countless untold stories pressing in around her. The path ahead was shrouded in darkness, yet it pulsed with the promise of revelations that could reshape her understanding of the past. With unwavering resolve, she pressed on, determined to breathe life into the silence and to let the long-forgotten voices of the past speak once more through the corridors of this abandoned giant. As Elena ventured deeper into the ship's bowels, the ambient hum of dormant systems seemed to stir echoes of a life that had long since faded. The narrow corridors gave way to a central data hub, a cavernous chamber lined with panels and terminals that still pulsed with residual energy. Here, the ship's heartbeat was palpable, a rhythmic murmur that carried whispered memories of a time when every console and corridor had teemed with human determination and sacrifice. In the half-light of the chamber, Elena found herself before a massive, archaic console. Its screen, though dim and flickering, offered fragmented data streams, a kaleidoscope of images and audio logs that chronicled the vessel's tumultuous past. As she activated her portable decryption module, the device hummed to life, sifting through layers of encrypted code. One by one, the stories began to emerge, harrowing accounts of explosive battles, desperate last stands, and quiet moments of camaraderie amid the chaos of war. The holographic projections danced before her eyes, rendering ghostly figures of officers and soldiers locked in conversation, their voices layered with both hope and despair. Elena absorbed each detail with a mixture of awe and sorrow. She watched as a commanding officer recounted a fateful decision that had altered the course of a skirmish, a decision born of necessity, yet tinged with regret. The narrative unfolded like a mosaic, each shard of memory revealing a slice of a larger, heartbreaking picture. Among the data fragments, Elena discovered a series of personal logs that offered intimate insights into the lives of those who had once manned the warship. One log, in particular, caught her attention, a tear-stained entry written by a young ensign whose voice trembled with both fear and determination. His words detailed moments of unexpected tenderness amid the relentless brutality of battle, a stolen glance of reassurance from a comrade, a whispered promise to return home, and the bittersweet acceptance of duty over personal desire. Each record was a testament to human resilience, an ode to the unyielding spirit that had once animated these now silent halls. The chamber itself seemed to resonate with these memories. Faded murals of heroic deeds and somber memorials were scattered along the walls, each one a silent tribute to lives cut short, yet not forgotten. The interplay of light and shadow accentuated the delicate balance between glory and loss, a balance that Elena felt acutely in her own heartbeat. Every step she took was a step through history, a tangible journey through the corridors of time where valor and tragedy coexisted in haunting harmony. As the data streams coalesced into a coherent narrative, Elena felt a profound connection with the ship's past. The vessel was more than a relic of a forgotten war. It was a repository of human experiences, a keeper of countless untold stories. In the quiet solitude of that ancient hub, she resolved to honor these voices, both the triumphant and the sorrowful, by uncovering their truths and preserving them for a future that might otherwise forget. With a deep, measured breath, Elena stepped away from the console, her mind awash with the weight of the history she had just witnessed. The echoes of that lost era reverberated within her, a solemn reminder that the past was never truly gone. It lingered, waiting to be acknowledged and understood. Deep within the winding corridors of the warship, a new presence began to reveal itself, one whose ambition was as dark and relentless as the void outside. As Elena moved silently through a narrow passageway, her focus was momentarily broken by the sensation of being watched. The subtle shift in the ship's ambient energy and an almost imperceptible echo in the silence hinted at an intruder whose motives were far removed from the solitary quest for knowledge. Unbeknownst to Elena, Captain Jonas Krysek had been silently following her progress. His footsteps, muted by the ship's own creaks and sighs, mirrored the calculated precision of a man who had learned to navigate both physical and moral battlegrounds. Hidden in the shadowed recesses of an adjacent corridor, Krysek observed her every move with cold, analytical eyes. He was a figure draped in ambition. Each measured breath and every furtive glance from the darkness testified to his unwavering resolve to reclaim lost power. Krysek's presence was as enigmatic as it was foreboding. A scar traced a jagged line across his weathered face, a silent memoir of battles fought and a life steeped in the ruthlessness of his own making. His voice, when it eventually broke the silence, was smooth and cutting, carrying a mix of authoritative command and sinister promise. "Dr. Maris," he called out, his tone dripping with a mixture of condescension and dark intent. "You tread dangerous ground. This ship holds secrets not meant for the curious." His words slithered through the corridor, each syllable a subtle threat. Startled yet composed, Elena turned sharply, her hand instinctively reaching for the compact tool at her belt. "Captain Krysek," she replied, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coiling within her. "I'm here to uncover the truth of this vessel's past, not to ignite new conflicts. We owe it to those who perished to learn from history, not to repeat it." The tension between them sparked in the stale air, a collision of ideologies set against the backdrop of forgotten valor and unhealed wounds. Their dialogue danced along a razor's edge of philosophical debate and unspoken history. Krysek's eyes narrowed as he circled Elena, his gaze never wavering from the determined spark in her eyes. "Truth, you say," he murmured. "Sometimes, the truth is a weapon, one that can shatter illusions and reshape destinies. I believe this warship holds the key to reclaiming what was lost and to building a future forged by power." His voice resonated with the hard edge of someone who had been scarred by betrayal and left to forge his own destiny in the aftermath of shattered allegiances. In that fleeting exchange, the warship itself seemed to hold its breath, its silent corridors becoming a stage for the clash of past and future, hope and ambition. Elena's resolve crystallized in the face of his challenge. "I cannot allow ambition to rewrite history with bloodshed," she countered firmly, her tone imbued with a mix of cautious empathy and steely determination. "The sacrifices made within these walls demand that we honor their memory, not exploit their legacy for personal gain." The tension escalated as Krycek stepped closer, his figure emerging from the darkness into the flickering pool of light from a nearby console. His posture exuded both menace and the calculated assurance of a man who had made his peace with his own ruthless nature. "Perhaps," he replied softly, "but sometimes the cost of preserving legacy is the only way to ensure that it never fades into oblivion." The unspoken challenge hung heavily between them, a battle of wills where every word could tip the balance of destiny. For a long, charged moment, the two stood locked in silent opposition, the dim glow of ancient technology illuminating the contours of their faces. Elena sensed the dangerous allure of Krycek's ambition, a promise of power that carried the risk of igniting conflicts anew. She knew that beyond this confrontation lay a deeper truth. The warship was not merely a repository of history, but a catalyst that could either heal old wounds or reopen fresh ones. As the corridor fell back into a strained silence, each heartbeat seemed to echo the unresolved tension. In the interplay of light and shadow, Elena realized that the battle ahead was not solely against a man consumed by ambition, but against a legacy of conflict that had the power to corrupt even the noblest of quests. The silent corridors bore witness to this clash, a poignant reminder that the pursuit of truth often comes at a steep price, and that sometimes the darkest shadows are cast by the brightest lights of conviction. Elena's steady steps led her deeper into the warship's enigmatic core, where the very walls pulsed with the echo of lost decades. The narrow corridors eventually gave way to a vast, sealed chamber, the heart of the machine, where ancient technology and the indelible record of conflict converged in a silent symphony of light and shadow. The door to the chamber was an imposing relic of engineering brilliance, its surface adorned with faded, intricate patterns that hinted at a once-celebrated fusion of art and functionality. With careful deliberation, Elena bypassed the archaic security protocols, her hands gliding over cold, time-worn interfaces. As the heavy door groaned open, it revealed an interior that defied the decay of its surroundings, a sanctum where advanced circuitry and historical data coexisted like two sides of a long-forgotten coin. Inside, the chamber stretched out into a cavernous space, its ceiling lost in the depths of darkness. Panels of bioluminescent wiring snaked along the walls, casting a ghostly glow that danced over consoles and holographic displays. In the center of this electronic mausoleum stood a colossal data terminal, its surface a mosaic of shimmering screens and tactile interfaces, still alive with the remnants of power. Here lay the ship's soul, a repository of secrets, memories, and the harsh realities of human conflict, meticulously recorded for posterity. Elena moved forward with a mixture of awe and caution, her eyes tracing the elegant patterns of light and the subtle hum of machinery that seemed to breathe life into the sterile space. Each step echoed in the silence, mingling with the soft, rhythmic pulses emanating from the terminal, almost as if the device itself had a heartbeat. She reached out, her gloved fingers hovering over the console, feeling the chill of metal and the faint warmth of residual energy, a paradox that mirrored the dual nature of the vessel's legacy, a monument to both human innovation and human suffering. Activating her portable decryption unit, Elena began the arduous task of interfacing with the data core. Streams of cryptic symbols and holographic images materialized before her eyes, a fragmented narrative of battles waged, heroic sacrifices, and the devastating toll of ambition. The images shifted and coalesced into a panoramic record of history. Soldiers in steadfast formation, moments of desperate command amid chaos, and the quiet, heart-wrenching farewells whispered in the dead of night. Each frame was a testament to lives lived on the razor's edge of war, a digital echo of the human spirit caught between the relentless march of progress and the timeless shadow of conflict. As she navigated the layers of data, Elena discovered a hidden subroutine, a secret vault within the system. This repository held not just military logs and battle reports, but deeply personal accounts, diaries of lost loved ones, voice recordings of final, resolute declarations, and images of moments both tender and terrifying. The terminal's holographic interface pulsed in time with her heartbeat, revealing that beneath the layers of cold, calculated data lay an intimate chronicle of hope, despair, and the unyielding will to survive. In that profound moment, the chamber transformed from a cold data hub into a sacred archive of humanity's past. Elena felt as though she were conversing with ghosts, their voices carried across the digital divide, a chorus of memories urging her to honor their sacrifice and learn from their trials. The chamber's atmosphere was heavy with both revelation and forewarning, a reminder that knowledge, once uncovered, could never be put back into its dormant state. Yet, amidst the torrents of historical data, Elena also sensed the latent threat embedded within the technology. The advanced systems, though inactive now, had the potential to alter the balance of power if resurrected by those with darker ambitions. It was a dual-edged legacy, an archive of invaluable truths and a Pandora's box that could unleash chaos if misused. As the soft hum of the terminal intertwined with her racing thoughts, Elena stood at the nexus of history and destiny. The chamber's silent, glowing heart beckoned her to extract its secrets, to piece together the narrative of a war that had left indelible scars on the fabric of humanity. With a resolute gaze and a mind teeming with questions, she vowed to navigate this labyrinth of memory and machinery with both the precision of science and the empathy of a guardian of history. In the pulsating glow of the data chamber, as ancient voices converged with the promise of future revelations, Elena understood that this moment would forever redefine her path. Here, at the heart of the machine, she held the key to a legacy that could either illuminate the shadows of the past or cast a new darkness over the future. The oppressive silence that had once defined the warship's corridors shattered in an instant, replaced by the metallic clang of imminent conflict. In the heart of the ancient vessel, where time itself seemed suspended in the flicker of failing lights, Elena and Krysek met face-to-face in a confrontation that crackled with tension and unspoken history. Elena's breath came in measured, deliberate puffs as she steadied herself in the data chamber, a vast arena of glowing consoles and shadowed recesses. The room, still pulsing with the electric hum of dormant technology, now vibrated with the raw energy of two ideologies colliding. Across from her, Krysek stepped forward, his eyes hard and unyielding, the scars on his face deepening as if each mark recalled battles etched into his soul. The air was charged with the gravity of their exchange, a battle not only for control of ancient secrets, but for the very soul of a legacy that had outlived its makers. Their dialogue began like a carefully orchestrated duel, each word a calculated thrust, each pause a parry against the inevitable. "You don't understand the power within these walls," Krysek hissed, his voice low and menacing, echoing off the cold metal surfaces. "This isn't merely about preserving history. It's about reclaiming it, forging a future from the remnants of our past." His tone dripped with the conviction of a man who had long abandoned compromise, his ambition forged in the crucible of betrayal and loss. Elena's response was a counterweight of resolute defiance and quiet sorrow. "And what future do you see, Krysek? One built on the ashes of those who sacrificed everything? I cannot let ambition turn into tyranny." Her words, though soft, reverberated with the weight of memories and the hope that truth could heal even the deepest wounds. The stark contrast between their voices, one tempered by a longing for justice, the other hardened by the scars of ambition, created a palpable fissure in the charged atmosphere. In a swift, almost imperceptible motion, Krysek lunged forward, the glint of determination in his eyes reflecting the flickering data streams that surrounded them. The confrontation escalated from a verbal sparring to a physical ballet of wills, where every gesture was steeped in the urgency of their opposing visions. Amidst the chaotic interplay of light and shadow, the ancient ship itself seemed to shudder as if recoiling from the violence that threatened to reawaken its haunted past. The battle unfolded amid the labyrinth of consoles and digital relics, a delicate dance where the relics of human endeavor became silent witnesses to the clash. Sparks flew as Chrysek's hand brushed against a dormant panel, setting off a cascade of erratic signals, while Elena's agile movements kept her anchored to the truth she sought to protect. Their every step was a negotiation with destiny, every clash of their wills a struggle to harness the ship's latent power. As the confrontation reached its fevered pitch, the chamber's ambient hum intensified, echoing the tumult of emotions swirling between them. In a moment of razor-sharp clarity, amidst the ringing echoes of clashing ideals, Elena realized that the warship was not simply a relic of technological prowess, but a crucible where the forces of past and present merged into a potent force that could reshape futures. The data terminal flickered ominously, casting ghostly reflections of forgotten faces upon the walls, faces that seemed to implore both combatants to consider the true cost of their ambitions. With each passing second, the stakes grew higher. Chrysek's ambition, once his guiding star, now appeared as a relentless specter determined to unearth and control the dangerous secrets concealed within the vessel's core. Elena, driven by a steadfast commitment to honor those lost to the ravages of war, steeled herself against the onslaught of his dark resolve. Their struggle was more than a clash of individuals. It was a confrontation of values, a battle for the future forged in the interplay of memory and ambition. In the midst of the chaos, as blinding sparks and cascading data intermingled, Elena and Chrysak locked eyes in a final, charged moment of reckoning. The silence that followed was as potent as the clash itself, a pregnant pause where the weight of every sacrifice and every whispered memory seemed to converge. The warship, with its ancient circuits and scarred hull, bore silent witness to this tumult, a timeless monument to the relentless interplay of light and shadow, hope and despair. And in that charged moment, with the echoes of history reverberating through the very fabric of the ship, the future hung in a delicate balance, poised on the knife's edge of ambition and the unyielding pursuit of truth. In the waning light of the data chamber, where the remnants of ancient power still pulsed like the final beats of a dying heart, Elena stood at the precipice of a decision that would echo across the stars. The confrontation with Captain Chrysak had left the warship trembling with residual energy, its corridors now imbued with both the scars of recent conflict and the weight of a legacy too formidable to ignore. Around her, the soft, intermittent glow of malfunctioning consoles cast elongated shadows across the walls, ghostly silhouettes of those who had once filled these halls with life and purpose. The data terminal, its streams of holographic memories still flickering erratically, seemed to pulse in time with Elena's own racing heartbeat. Each fragmented record spoke of a past defined by sacrifice, honor, and the haunting specter of ambition unchecked. Elena's mind raced as she contemplated the dangerous power that lay dormant within the ship. Her earlier confrontation with Chrysak had crystallized the duality of the vessel's legacy. Here was a treasure trove of historical truth, but equally, a Pandora's box capable of reigniting the embers of a long Cold War. The warship was not just a museum of human endeavor. It was a crucible of fate, a reservoir of potential that could tip the balance between hope and despair for the future of interstellar civilization. With deliberate calm, she surveyed the chamber. The flicker of data, the hum of the ancient machinery, and the residual tension in the air all converged into a single, overwhelming truth. The secrets held within this ship were both a beacon of enlightenment and a seed of chaos. Elena's resolve hardened as she considered the countless lives intertwined with this legacy. The sacrifices of those long lost demanded reverence and protection, a duty that extended far beyond personal ambition. In a quiet moment of introspection, Elena recalled the whispered voices of the past recorded in the personal logs and diaries. Their hopes, their fears, and their ultimate surrender to the inexorable tides of war now resonated within her, urging her to act with both compassion and unwavering determination. She knew that any attempt to harness the warship's power for personal gain would only serve to perpetuate the cycle of destruction that had once torn humanity apart. Guided by that conviction, Elena initiated a sequence on her portable terminal, a decisive protocol designed not to destroy the legacy, but to neutralize its potential for misuse. The lights around the data core deepened to a luminous blue as encryption layers cascaded into secure isolation. With each keystroke, she siphoned off critical information, archiving the historical truths into a secure, off-site repository meant for future scholars and peacemakers. Simultaneously, she activated a containment routine that would render the dangerous elements inert, ensuring they could never be repurposed as instruments of war. As the final lines of code were executed, the warship seemed to exhale a long-forgotten sigh, a sound that mingled with the hum of the terminal and the soft rustle of recycled air. Captain Krysek, who had lingered in the periphery of the chamber, regarded her actions with a mixture of fury and reluctant admiration. His ambition, so vehemently expressed in their earlier clash, now met the steady, resolute spirit of one who had chosen preservation over conquest. The confrontation that had once threatened to tear the ship's legacy apart was now transformed into a solemn pact, a mutual, albeit unspoken, acknowledgement that the truth of the past was far too precious to be wielded as a weapon. In that charged silence, the warship's corridors, heavy with the weight of countless memories, bore witness to a rebirth. The vessel was now more than a relic. It had become a guardian of history, a silent sentinel tasked with ensuring that the errors of the past would never again seed the flames of future conflict. Stepping away from the core, Elena paused before the massive viewport. Outside, the infinite tapestry of stars stretched endlessly, each distant light a reminder of both the fragility and resilience of life. In that moment, a sense of calm determination settled over her. She had not only secured the dangerous relics of a bygone war, but had also honored the memory of those who had given everything in its name. The future, though uncertain, now shone with the possibility of renewal, a future where knowledge would guide humanity toward a path of unity and hope rather than division and despair. With one final glance at the flickering data and a soft murmur of farewell to the echoes of the past, Elena activated her shuttle's launch sequence. As the containment protocols took full effect, the warship's once ominous interior began to recede into silent tranquility, a monument now safeguarded against the ravages of ambition. The shuttle detached smoothly, its engines humming as it prepared to carry Elena back into the boundless expanse of space. In the rear view of her journey, the ancient vessel glowed faintly, a silent guardian of secrets and a promise of lessons yet to be learned. The corridor of history, once marred by the scars of conflict, had found a measure of redemption through her resolute act of preservation. In that final, contemplative moment, Elena acknowledged the profound truth that every end carried within it the seeds of a new beginning. And as the shuttle accelerated into the depths of the cosmos, the legacy of the warship, etched in both tragedy and triumph, remained a steadfast beacon for the future.